See? Oh, okay. Hey, hello, friends of JM Pro TV and Ally. So we are again. So this the second day. The opening just finished, and we are here talking with two friends with two different organizations. So I'm gonna let them present themselves.
I'm Cassandra Welchland in Mississippi with the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable.
I'm Carol Burnett, and I'm with the Mississippi Low Income Child Care Initiative.
And so all our people in Western North Carolina have been following this event since yesterday from our community channel. And we would love to know from different organizations, how are you seeing how important it is to have this kind of events of fundraising for our organization?
Well, it's a critical movement in the country right now. And I think organizations are really trying to think about how do we center ourselves in this moment. And that means also how do we get those resources to really expand the vision of the organization that supports what our communities are experiencing. And so being able to come to a conference where the menu is plenty to choose from. And so I think it's something for everyone to be able to sharpen their skills, think about new ideas on how do we really fund the movements that's critical to our communities.
Sometimes it's a dilemma because you got two great workshops at the same time, right? You don't know where to go. And I also would like to know, so how in your communities, with these political times, how is the organization going on? They are growing in numbers. The support also is growing, or we're having some problems in that field?
Well, in Mississippi, the political context isn't really different now than it was before. We've always been in the kind of political context that now the rest of the country sees themselves in. We've been up against a very conservative political environment for a really long time. And in these times when we see it expanding nationally, it's really challenging, but it's also interesting in some ways that some of the ways that we have worked within the state to try to move issues forward in such a conservative context are lessons that have begun to feel a little relevant for people in other parts of the country who now see themselves facing what we've been facing for a really long time. But it does mean that all of us who are working on behalf of social justice issues have to see the connections across our issues so that we work intersectionally and so that we work together and find unity across our issues to make the movement for social justice more powerful.
Yesterday we heard in the opening that most of the money that the big donors are giving in the South Side are going to conservative movements. Is it the case in your communities, or is more than the average?
You mean money for the movement?
Yes, for the founders are founding more like conservative movements. That what?
Well,
more than the progressive ones.
it is true that there's a lot of money on the conservative side,
Right.
and there are a lot of investments in particularly candidates and political efforts and movements that are kind of under the radar, like pieces of legislation that are sponsored by organizations like ALEC that come out of conservative movement funders. And that is really true, and that side is really well funded. And so the challenge on our side is to really activate, connect with, and engage the large numbers of people who are impacted and who need to be engaged in a movement for change.
Right, and I would add to that, so in Mississippi, one of the things that we've always have tried to do is really work in collaboration and coalition together. That's just kind of our DNA. And so whether that's us coming together around whatever the issue is, because it is intersectional, we try to figure out how do we use our staff collectively, right? How do we, get information to all of our networks and have them come to this particular event. So while the resources may be small in the nonprofits doing this cutting-edge social justice work, being able to collectivize those resources has been really important for us. And so, yes, there is some focus, on the South to try to get some resources in, but that's a really small percentage of where we know those bigger dollars go, which are more established, glossy nonprofits, right? And so we just have to keep doing what we've always done, which is funding, our own movements and putting our resources together.
Yeah, and somebody was telling in a workshop yesterday that most of the money comes from the individuals instead of our big donors. So, and talking about connections and everything, so if anybody in the Western North Carolina, our viewers, want to contact you, learn more from you, and maybe some advice, because you've been working this topic for a long time, so how can they contact you?
Yeah, they can go to our Facebook page, the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable. We also are connected to a larger organization, the National Coalition for Black Civic Participation. We are, and so they also can follow us on Twitter, same handle, Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable, and also Instagram.
Thank you very much. And that's, I want to say hi to all the friends of The Color of Asheville, which is a Facebook group also that has all this information. I hope you can share this video and this information. It's going to be very relevant. And how about you?
And they can contact us at mschildcare.org.
Well, thank you very much for your time. So, and friends of JM Pro TV, so we're going to continue to do more interviews. There are many organizations and very interesting and awesome people here in this event. So we're going to say bye, and we will come back. So thank you, Joaquin. Joaquin's in the camera. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Estaba pidiendo para eso, estaba pidiendo para mirar a la cámara.